Welcome back, dear listener. You are safe here, wrapped in stillness. Drifting into history, let the world grow quiet around you, and your breaths soften. Let your eyelids grow heavier, like dusk settling over the hills. Tonight, we journey once more back through the folds of time, to a place both ancient and gentle, back to Axum, the kingdom that once whispered along the highlands of Ethiopia and Eritrea. We are not here for conquest or kings, but for the quiet heartbeat of everyday life. Morning in the Axumite hills, the sun has not yet risen, but already a faint warmth stretches across the sky, a soft peach glow gently nudging the blue away. In the countryside, the air is cool, kissed with dew. The trees, tamarins and sycamore, stand still, their leaves trembling only slightly in the morning hush from a thatched roof home of earth and stone. A woman named Winta stirs. She lies still for a moment, listening. A rooster calls softly in the distance. A breeze slips through the open window. Somewhere nearby, a baby goat bleats, hungry for its mother's warmth. Winta stretches slowly, a gentle arch of the spine, like a flower opening to light. She wraps a light cotton shawl around her shoulders and steps out into the morning. The village is small, nestled between hills like a forgotten secret. Homes are round or rectangular, built with hand-smoothed stones and warm red clay. Some are roofed with grass thatch, others with timber beams. All are quiet for now, save for the soft crackle of a distant cooking fire beginning to glow. Winta's feet brush across packed dirt. She walks toward the grain shed, where the scent of teff, a fine, ancient grain, hangs in the air. Last season's harvest sits in baskets, woven from dried grass and goat hide. She lifts a lid and smiles. The teff will be ground this morning into flour, then batter, and then gently poured into wide clay pans to make injera, the spongy, tangy bread that nourishes her family. Fields and farming beyond the homes. Fields stretch into the distance. Gently sloping hills are carpeted in green rows of barley, teff, and legumes, stitched together like a patchwork blanket. The soil here is dark and generous, fed by the rains of the highlands and the work of many careful hands. Her husband, Tisfe, is already in the field. His silhouette is calm against the light, a wooden hoe balanced on his shoulder, his bare feet dark with dust. He hums as he works, a soft, low melody, more rhythm than song. It keeps him company. It keeps the cattle calm. The oxen move slowly, pulling a simple wooden plow across the earth. Their bells chime softly with each step. Birds flutter nearby, catching insects turned up by the soil. A boy chases after them for fun, his laughter light as the breeze. Winta joins Tisfe for a moment, bringing him a piece of injera, folded around a spoonful of honey. He takes it with a grateful nod. No words are needed. Their morning is a dance, quiet, practiced, rooted in earth and time. Bees and honey in Axum. Bees are sacred. Their hives live in trees, in the cracks of old stone walls, in hand-formed clay cylinders. Honey is not just sweet, it is healing, holy, and part of daily life. Later, Winta will check on her clay hive, which sits in the shade near her garden. She moves slowly, with reverence, brushing away a few curious bees with a sprig of lemongrass. She lifts the lid and peers. Inside, golden light spills out, soft and sticky. The honeycomb is full. She takes only a little, pressing it into a pot with her hands, humming a prayer of thanks. This honey will be stirred into barley porridge for the children. Some will be saved for ceremonies, births, marriages, the blessing of a new roof. Some will go to market. Clay pots and morning meals. The sun has risen now, soft golden light flooding the village paths. Children are awake, barefoot and curious. A group of girls fetch water from the well, balancing clay jars on their heads with grace. They walk slowly, chatting softly, not in a hurry. The day will unfold as it always does, with rhythm, not urgency. Back at the hearth, Winter kindles the morning fire. The coals, saved from the night before, awaken easily under her breath. She places a flat clay pan over the flames and begins to pour the injera batter, thin, bubbling, and alive with fermentation. Steam rises and curls. The smell is warm and sour, comforting. Beside her, a pot of lentils simmers, cooked with onions, garlic, and Berber spice. A child helps her stir and tastes with her finger, eyes wide with delight. No utensils, no fuss, just food, made with memory, with patience, with hands. Now the village is fully awake, but still quiet. There is no rush here, only rhythm. The wind whispers through the tall grasses. Birds dart between acacia trees. Goats bleat softly as they nibble on low branches. The sounds are not sharp, only gentle, layered like music for the soul. In the distance, the capital city of Axum may be stirring, but here, in the hills, life follows the language of nature. The sun has climbed a little higher now. Its golden warmth spills across the hills, and in the distance, the capital city of Axum slowly stirs, not with noise, but with quiet purpose. The city rises from the land like something grown, not built, stone upon stone, shaped by countless hands, fitting together like memory and time. There are no tall towers of gold, no glittering walls. Instead, there are earthy streets, shaded by trees, homes made of red stone and cool clay, some decorated with painted patterns in white and ochre. Axum is not a place that shouts. It breathes. Markets wake with the Dayan, a broad clearing near the center of the city. A wide square lined with flat stones becomes the morning market. There are no wooden stalls here, just open space, woven mats, and low tables made from tree trunks. Merchants arrive slowly, their donkeys softly braying, their camels loping, baskets swaying from their sides. From distant farms and fishing villages, they come bearing food, cloth, and quiet greetings in the ancient tongue of Winter and Tisfe, who we met in the countryside, are here today too. They've brought woven baskets of grain, fresh honeycombs sealed in clay pots, and dried herbs wrapped in leaves. The market smells of life, spices and roasted coffee, clay dust and sweet incense. Children dart between the legs of traders, giggling softly, chasing a round seed pod like a toy ball. What you might see in the market, a woman with silver bracelets on both wrists lays out tiny pots of red ochre for body painting. Beside her, a man with dyed leather sandals tends to a pile of salt cakes, used for trade and flavoring. Near the center, a circle of weavers sit beneath a woven awning, their hands dancing as they twist cotton thread into patterns, soft blues, deep browns, sandy yellows. One hums a lullaby. Another laughs gently when her toddler stumbles into her lap. A group of Arab traders, sun-worn and smiling, unpack small chests of frankincense and pearls, their camels chewing lazily in the shade. They greet their Axumite hosts with warm words and the universal language of trade, open hands, respectful bows, and quiet exchange. There is no shouting here, just murmurs, laughter, the clink of metal coins, ease of Axum, stamped with the face of a ruler long past, passed now, into memory. The artisans of the city deeper into the city, along narrower paths. You'll find the workshops of Axum, places where artisans shape the world not with speed, but with care. In one open courtyard, a group of stone carvers chip gently at a massive block of granite. Each tap of the chisel echoes like a heartbeat. They are carving not for beauty alone, but for eternity. A young boy watches as an elder carver shapes a small window into a model. Stela, those great towers that rise like fingers to the sky, meant to honor ancestors and guide spirits home. Nearby, potters work in silence, their fingers coated in wet clay, spinning wide-mouthed jars and painted bowls, each piece telling a story without words. In another shaded corner, metalworkers fan tiny bellows, coaxing glowing bronze into tiny religious charms and thin-bladed tools. The air smells of ash and fire, but it is not harsh, it is old, familiar, sacred, soft rituals, and sacred rhythms. As midday nears, the city slows, shadows shorten, the sun glows white above, and the people begin to drift toward ritual. At the center of the city stands a small temple courtyard, its walls built of limestone and wood, its floor swept clean with branches each morning. Here, under the shade of tall trees, the priests of Axum gather. They are dressed simply in white linen robes, hands stained faintly from incense resin. One lights a bundle of frankincense, and smoke curls upward like a slow dance. They do not chant loudly, their voices are barely above a whisper, words carried gently by the breeze, meant not to command but to invite the divine. A group of women sit in a semicircle, each holding a small bundle of grass or grain, offered in thanks for the harvest, for health, for love. A mother places her hand on her child's forehead and closes her eyes. The priest makes the sign of a cross in the air, not Roman, not Greek, but Axumite, shaped from ancient belief, from stars and soil, from whispered prayers passed down like lullabies. The language of flowers and blessing. In one quiet corner of the city, a young girl walks with a basket of petals, blue, yellow, and red, gathered from the fields outside the city walls. She places them carefully on doorsteps, not for decoration, but as a blessing, for healing and hope. This is a custom handed down by her grandmother, who learned it from hers. No one tells her to do it. It's simply part of the rhythm, like sunrise, like markets, like the scent of coffee roasted at noon. Asterisk. The day in Axum begins to stretch and settle. Shadows drift across stone streets, stretching like cat's paws. The sun is warm but no longer harsh, and the breeze is kind again. It is the perfect hour for learning, but in Axum, learning is not hurried, nor held in great halls with columns or marble. Instead, it unfolds in shaded courtyards, under trees, and within the thick, cool walls of ancient temples. The scribe beneath the sycamore, beneath a tall sycamore tree, whose branches curl like fingers cradling the sky. An elder sits cross-legged on a smooth flat stone. His name is Abamina. His beard is white. His voice is soft. On in front of him, a scroll of parchment, yellowed with time. Beside him, a pot of ink, made from ground charcoal and gum Arabic, black as night. He dips his reed pen with slow precision. Each stroke he writes in Ge'ez, the flowing, ancient language of the Axumites, filled with gentle curves and breath-like vowels. A small group of children sit before him, legs folded, hands on laps, eyes wide with calm. He does not teach with scolding, he teaches with story. The way of story today. Abamina tells the children about Makeda, the queen of Sheba, how she journeyed across the desert to meet King Solomon, not for war, but for wisdom. He tells of her questions, riddles like stars, and how she brought treasures of frankincense, gold, and stories of her people. He does not speak quickly. Each sentence is slow. Each word is like a pebble dropped into still water. The children listen, and one leans gently against another. Their breaths grow slower, their thoughts begin to blur with the rhythm of the tale. The temple school, beyond the courtyard, tucked behind carved stone walls, there is a small temple school. Its floors are cool. Its air smells of old parchment and burning herbs. Here, older students study not just words, but cosmos, plants, and sacred rhythms. They memorize poetry, sing ancient prayers, and learn to map the stars using polished stones and drawn symbols. They learn that everything has a season: planting, harvesting, birth, death, and rebirth. Even silence, they are told, is a kind of knowledge. A young girl named Helena copies a prayer onto parchment. Her pen is shaky, but her eyes are calm. She is writing for her mother a blessing, for good rains, and the safety of a coming birth. This is what it means to be learned in Axum, to carry knowledge gently, like water in your hands. Legends in the evening light. The light begins to fade again. Families gather on rooftops or under trees. The cool wind returns. The sky blushes with lavender and pink. This is the time of legends, when elders clear their throats and begin to speak. Not loudly, but with the voice of memory. They speak of the Ark of the Covenant, carried to Axum by Menelik, son of Makeda, and Solomon, how it sleeps now in a sacred church, guarded day and night. They speak of spirits in the hills, who guard old wells and trees, and must be thanked with a whispered prayer and a palmful of grain. They speak of the lion that walked like a man, who protected the village from bandits and disappeared into the mist. They do not worry if the stories are true. They are real in the heart, and that is enough. A night for the stars, in the temple courtyard. Priests look to the sky. The stars begin to bloom. They name them in whispers. The shepherd's star, the river, the lion, the three sisters. They track the seasons this way, predict the rains, bless the crops, guide the sailors. Learning, here, is not numbers on slates or chalk on walls. It is wind and fearless tea. It is song and silence. It is story passed from lip to ear, again and again, like the turning of the moon. Asterisk, the sky begins to deepen. Evening is not far, and in the heart of Axum, the air grows thicker with silence, not an emptiness, but a fullness, as if something unseen has entered the room. In the kingdom of Axum, faith was not a building, it was a presence, a way of living, a way of breathing with the world. And now, as the sun lowers behind the hills, that presence becomes strong again, like a soft hum in the bones, like a warm hand on the back. Let us walk slowly now, toward the sacred spaces of this gentle kingdom. The church at the edge of the city, it stands, not as a monument, but as a shelter, a small stone church, worn by time, embraced by trees. Its walls are thick, built of limestone and mud brick. Its door is narrow, its roof is wooden, but the inside glows with something older than gold. We remove our shoes and step in. The floor is cool, the air quiet. The only sound is the soft crackle of oil lamps. On the walls, faint paintings, angels with wide eyes, crosses shaped like keys, and saints, with hands raised in blessing. A priest stands near the altar. His robe is white. His hands are gentle. He holds a bronze censer, and from it rises the scent of frankincense, earthy, bittersweet, like the memory of rain. The quiet ritual he begins to chant, not loud, not for a crowd, but soft, steady, like a lullaby made of breath. The Giaz script leaves his tongue and curls ancient syllables, rising like mist. We do not understand every word, but we feel it. It is a song of thanks, of waiting, of surrender, a song of things bigger than time. Others kneel. A child presses his forehead to the stone floor. A woman closes her eyes and lets the smoke curl around her. There is no rush, only rhythm, only silence between the notes. Crosses carved in stone throughout Axum. There are sacred symbols carved, not just in churches, but in wells, stones, trees, and homes. The Axumite cross is everywhere, sometimes simple, sometimes complex, woven into patterns that loop like vines, or stars. It is not a weapon, not a banner. It is a reminder of sky meeting earth, of soul meeting body, of eternity moving quietly beneath time. Monks of the hills beyond the city, nestled high in the cliffs, live the monks, quiet men in white robes, who have given their lives, not to speaking, but to listening. Their homes are carved into stone. Their windows look out over the green valleys. Below. Each morning, they rise with the sun. Each night, they sleep with the stars. They eat little. They speak less, but they sing. Oh, they sing. Low, steady songs, sometimes to the earth, sometimes to God, sometimes just to the wind. And they pray for all of Axum, for the sick, the lost, the joyful, and the unborn. They believe the soul is not trapped in the body, but held by it, like light in a lantern. Ancient faith. Global spirit Axum was one of the earliest Christian kingdoms in the world. Its rulers did not convert with force. They listened first to travelers, monks, and merchants from far-off shores. One day, a man named Frumentius arrived, not as a conqueror, but as a teacher. He shared stories of a man named Jesus, who fed the poor, healed the sick, and forgave all who asked. The Axumites did not scoff. They welcomed the story, because they already knew kindness. They already knew peace. They built churches, but never stopped honoring the old rhythms, the sun, the seasons, the ancestors, the stars. They believed in the sacred, and they believed the sacred lived in many forms. A moment in the Holy of Holies, in the center of one great cathedral. There is a chamber. No one enters it, not even the priests. It is the Holy of Holies. They say inside rests a box, old wooden, sealed with iron. It is guarded day and night. Some say it holds the Ark of the Covenant. Some say it holds only memory, but all agree it holds something sacred. We stand outside the chamber now, and though the door is shut, we feel it a stillness, a weightless hush, as if even time holds its breath here. We close our eyes, and for just a moment, we belong to something deeper than story. We belong to silence. Night has arrived in Axum. The moon has risen, pale and silver, and the stars bloom, like flowers in the dark. But the city does not sleep completely. Not far from its stone streets and sacred spaces, a caravan moves slowly down toward the coast. Not a royal procession. Not soldiers, but traders, pilgrims, sailors, men and women walking beside camels. Their footsteps soft on the dust, their loads carefully wrapped, bundles of ivory, frankincense, gold dust, and teff. They move without hurry. The sea waits patiently. The road to the port city is called Agilis, nestled on the Red Sea's edge, where the tide kisses the land and salt hangs in the air. It takes days to reach it, over hills, through narrow passes, past quiet wells and thorn trees. But the journey is peaceful. Each night, travelers camp near the road, build small fires, and exchange stories in the flickering light. They share news of India, where spices grow like stars, of Arabia, where pearls are fished from blue waters, of Rome, where statues reach toward the sky. But they speak softly, because the night is sacred, and stories are sacred too. The ship awaits at the harbor. The sea glows under the moon. It is still, almost sleeping. Wooden ships, not large, but strong, float gently on the tide. Their sails are rolled, their ropes coiled, and their names carved into their hulls in ancient GS. They are built of local timber, sealed with tree resin, guided, not by compass or clock, but by stars and memory. Tonight, a ship prepares to sail. Its cargo is packed, hides, resin, salt, obsidian, and beads of colored glass. In return, it will bring back cinnamon, silk, sandalwood, and papyrus. The crew moves, quietly, almost like a ritual. No shouting, no rush, only purpose. Sailing by the stars, the ship leaves at dawn, as the sun rises behind the hills. Its sails catch the morning wind, and it glides into the open sea like a bird in flight. The Red Sea spreads wide and calm, deep blue with strokes of white foam. The captain, an elder named Barakat, stands at the helm. He does not look at maps. He watches the sky, the birds, the colors of the water. He murmurs to the wind like an old friend, and the sea listens. Ports of distant lands days pass slowly. They stop in Arabia, Felix, where incense burns on every street corner. The people there welcome the Axumites with bows and shared tea. In India, they anchor at Gaza, where the market hums with elephants, silk, and perfume. Here, Axumite coins are accepted like gold, the face of a king etched in fine detail, the cross stamped proudly beneath the crown. In Ceylon, sailors gather shells like treasure. In Egypt, They trade news with Greek scholars, comparing legends under the moon. But through it all, the Axumite traders moved gently, never to conquer, only to connect. The rhythm of the wind nights at sea are long, but not lonely. Sailors sit beneath the stars, wrapped in cotton shawls, humming songs that drift across the water like mist. One speaks of home, of his mother's honeyed bread, his sister's carved wooden flute. Another points to the shepherd's star, and tells of the time he followed it home through a storm. A boy leans over the edge, watching bioluminescent waves glow like fireflies. He whispers a wish into the wind. The sea accepts it, and carries it away. Treasures of the deep in the hold of the ship, goods sway with the tide. But also hidden there are small gifts. A carved stone lion for a child, a length of blue silk for a bride to be, a scroll of poetry in Greek, carried by a scribe for translation. These are not wealth. They are bridges between cultures, between hearts, between times. Trade, in Axum, is not about empire. It is about relationship, a quiet handshake across oceans. Welcome, dear dreamer. You are listening to Sleepy Historian, where the past unfolds like a lullaby, and every whisper of time leads us gently into rest. So, wherever you are, perhaps you're tucked in under soft blankets, or maybe lying back with your eyes just beginning to flutter closed. Take a deep breath, and let it out slowly. You are safe, and this moment is yours. Let's take a quiet journey, not through battles or empires in glory, but through the soft, forgotten rhythms of daily life. In the ancient kingdom of Axum, tonight, our minds drift to the highlands of what is now northern Ethiopia and parts of Eritrea, where long ago, nestled in the hills and valleys, the kingdom of Axum gently thrived. It's a name that sounds like the rustle of leaves in the wind. Axum. Soft and ancient. This was a place of quiet power, carved stone obelisks, warm sunshine, and trade ships gliding across the Red Sea. Let us begin not with kings or queens, but with morning in a small Axumite village. A gentle breeze rustles the tall grasses. The sun rises slowly behind the trees, casting a golden hue across stone homes with their flat, earthy roofs. Birds stir in the trees. A farmer's wife, named Winta, stirs from her sleep. She stretches, slowly, like the land awakening with the sun. She rises to begin her daily tasks. Life in Axum is deeply tied to the earth. The soil is rich, black, and fertile. Winta steps outside to check on her teff grain, which will soon be ground for injera, a soft, spongy bread cooked on a clay plate above the fire. Her husband, Tisfe, is already tending to the cattle, humming a low tune to keep the animals calm. There is no rush, only rhythm, only peace. Nearby, children wake with laughter, not too loud, just soft giggles as they chase one another between trees and across stone paths. A boy climbs a fig tree to pluck its sweet fruit, and a girl dips her fingers into a clay pot of honeycomb, sticky and golden. In Axum, bees are part of life, their hives nestled in tree trunks and clay walls, producing honey prized for food and ceremonies alike. The markets, too, are waking. In the city of Axum, the capital, shopkeepers roll open wooden shutters. Merchants begin laying out woven baskets filled with spices, coffee beans, and salt cakes wrapped in leather. Foreign traders arrive slowly from ports along the Red Sea, their camels plodding gently along dusty roads, carrying ivory, incense, and silks. Voices rise softly in Ge'ez, the ancient tongue of the Axumites, a language filled with gentle consonants and long, lilting vowels. But let us wander not just in space, but in time, drifting to an Axumite classroom, where knowledge is passed gently, like a lullaby, from elder to child. Here, in a shaded grove, a scribe dips his pen into black ink made from crushed charcoal and gum Arabic. He writes slowly on parchment made from stretched animal skin, forming careful loops. of the GS script as his students sit quietly, cross-legged, curious. He tells them stories from the Kebra, the glory of kings, and the tales of Queen Makeda, who some believe to be the Queen of Sheba, and her journey to meet King Solomon. But he tells it not as a conquest, but as a tale of wonder and wisdom, of two civilizations meeting gently under the stars. Evening comes slowly in Axum, the shadows lengthen. Smoke curls lazily from hearths. Families gather for dinner, a quiet ritual. Injera is laid out in wide circles on woven trays, and atop it, gently spiced lentils, greens, and stewed meat are spooned. No cutlery, only fingers, and the sharing of food, hand to hand. It's warm, fragrant, and deeply communal. Stories are told, old myths, family histories, and quiet wisdom, passed down like heirlooms. Perhaps the story of the elephant caravan that once traveled to Meru, or the tale of the stone obelisks, how they were carved from single blocks of granite, and gently raised to the sky, not to glorify war, but to honor ancestors, gods, and the stillness of eternity. At night, the capital city quiets. The moon rises over the great steely fields, towering obelisks etched with windows and doors, meant to guide spirits to the afterlife. Some still stand, others lay gently tilted, fallen not in battle, but in time's embrace. The stars begin to shimmer above constellations known to the ancient priests, the shepherd's star, the lion. The river moves slowly across the sky. In the temples, priests light incense. Frankincense and myrrh swirl like mist in the air. They sing in soft chant, not loud or commanding, but barely above a whisper. The walls of the church are cool and thick. Candles flicker. A carved cross casts a shadow on the floor, and all around there is quiet, deep, ancient quiet. And now let us drift beyond the cities, past the markets and homes, to the Red Sea. The Axumites were sailors, too. Their ships, carved from sturdy timber, sailed to ports in Arabia, India, and beyond, not in conquest, but in connection. They brought ivory, gold dust, and resin, and returned with silk, pearls, and spices. Sailors guided their way not by compass, but by the stars and the rhythm of the ocean winds. Imagine one of those ships now gliding quietly over the dark, mirror-smooth sea, sails full of wind, the crew whispering soft songs. Beneath the deck, jars of frankincense and cinnamon sway gently with the tide. Above, a sailor watches the horizon, the stars reflecting in his eyes. Dear listener, we have wandered far together, through hills and hearths, temples and tides, into a world long gone but never forgotten. The kingdom of Axum was not loud. It did not need to be. It thrived on balance, on quiet beauty, on the gentle rhythms of life, of growing, sharing, building, sailing, and believing. It is here, in the stillness of Axum, that we leave our story tonight. Breathe in and let it go. Let the world of ancient Ethiopia settle softly in your dreams, like dust on old stone, like wind across a quiet field. May your sleep be deep, and your dreams gentle. Good night, from the sleepy historian. And now, dear dreamer, you have walked through ancient fields. You have stood beneath starlit monuments. You have listened to the whispers of queens and shepherds, of poets and priests, of mothers telling stories in the hush of night. You have traveled back, not just through time, but into a gentler rhythm, where the world moves slowly, and every moment is wrapped in warmth. So now, let it all fade. Let the voices of Axum soften, until they are just echoes in the distance, faint and tender as a lullaby. You are safe. You are still. You are home. Feel the weight of your body, sinking into rest. Feel the quiet of the night cradling you. Just as the mountains cradle the ancient city, there is nothing more to do, no roads left to walk, only sleep to welcome. So close your eyes, breathe deep and slow, and drift, gently, silently, into dreams. We'll be here when you wake, with another story. Another night, another journey. Until then, good night, dreamer.